Good morning everybody and welcome to this week's Headmaster's blog. It's Friday the 4th of November. I hope you all enjoyed a restful half term and have enjoyed a really productive week back in school and work. Over the half term period there were a couple of really exciting staff pieces of news. So I'd like to extend on all of our behalves a very warm congratulations to Harriet and Michael Angus, who enjoyed a lavish wedding and are now husband and wife. So Harriet Wilson, as she was, has now returned as Harriet Angus. So don't be caught out on the email chain. And Harriet, we're all absolutely thrilled for you both. Equally, Mr. Farmer, Mark Farmer, enjoyed what we can only describe as a milestone birthday. He has to have some secrets, but I believe he also enjoyed a fantastic time together with his friends and indeed many of his colleagues here from KHS. And upon our return to school earlier this week, our very own Paul Hylands reached a milestone 30th working anniversary here at KHS, which is of course all too rare in this day and age. But Paul, we commend your fantastic loyalty to the school, and it was a great pleasure for myself and Richard Evans, the Chair of Governors, to bestow upon you a card and a gift to commemorate all of the hard work that you've done for us over the years with such good grace. So thank you very much. Parents, I'm sure you will have read with interest my update about the situation in respect of the school site. It goes without saying that the school's in a fantastically strong position, but we do not want to take anything for granted. So please do follow the instructions, lodge your objections, and do make sure, please, that we're all talking incredibly positively about the school and remain upbeat. It is a consistency of message which I think is absolutely imperative, particularly for those beyond the school gate. This is a thriving, successful school community. We have had another full, stacked out open morning again today. We remain a school of choice, a valued member of the local community, and very much an asset of community value. So all to play for there. Over the last few weeks, we've had a very exciting English enrichment programme, which culminated in a reading in unusual places competition over the half term. I've been privy to some of those photographs, and they will elicit a smile from your face, I am sure. We move on to mathematics now for the second half of term, and you can read in the newsletter all about Mrs. Linley's plans for inspiring numeracy amongst the girls and boys. Well done to Mr. Jackson and particularly to the pupils in Form 8J who presented this week's assembly about Diwali. Very topical, of course, and really good to see them talking with enthusiasm and knowledge about this important Hindu festival. Thank you very much for that. It was also very topical because it correlated with my written autumn View from the Hill blog, in which I compared the continuity offered by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II against the events that have taken place in Westminster recently, sort of consistency versus change, if you like. The only ray of light from that being the appointment of Rishi Sunak, the UK's first Hindu Prime Minister and the first of different ethnicity, and we wish him well. But amongst the many travails of our politicians, it is great to see that glass ceiling being shattered, and hopefully a sign of greater diversity in times to come. On a lighter note, it was great to see Miss Luff and Miss Smith take a photograph at the end of their closely contested rugby match over the half term. It was really great to see. I believe that Miss Luff and Richmond triumphed narrowly against Miss Smith and Beckenham, a very closely fought game. And I just sort of thought, what a great way to sort of capture the essence of KHS. Rugby has traditionally been a male sport, particularly here at the school. But what great role models these two young female teachers are to our boys and our girls. So thank you for sharing that with us. It really was, again, a sign of the times and sort of captured all that is good about what we do here to inspire the boys and girls in their co-curricular beyond the classroom. Now this evening we've got our much anticipated annual fireworks event. Huge thanks to Gene Towers and the team for all of the work they are putting in place to make sure that we have a safe and happy event. It is going to be very, very busy. We are completely sold out. We will have hundreds of people here on the school site. So I am sort of closing my eyes and prepare for the fact that it might look a bit messy on Saturday morning. But I would urge you, please make sure that you chat with your kids, make sure that they are behaving and that they are supervised, because in the evening it falls to you as parents to make sure that they are safe and supervised. There will be staff there, they will obviously be doing their bit, but actually this is a social event and it is a team effort. I hope we have a great time. Thank you very much indeed to the KHA for all of their hard work in arranging it. Now on to our first mentions in dispatches after half term. Well done to Karen Lowe for completing lots of extra work over half term. Well done to Ilyas Ahmed for being super organised. To Matt V, who's worked hard in geography. Well done in general to 4S and 3S for a great start on their nativity production, says Miss Foster. Ollie Rosenbaum singled out for really good work in geography. Leonardo Antiquities, great work in French. Ben Scudamore coming back with a great attitude. Thank you for that, Mrs. Bastable. And Phoebe Folland for writing a super Halloween story. Hugo Hawksley, great delivery in the recent public speaking competition. Teddy Clifford Evans, great motivation and focus. Ryan Battier, Hattie Clark and George White for their excellent Christmas card designs for the local MP Chris Grayling card competition. Oscar Poole, super leadership, captaining the under-13 football team against Tower House on Wednesday. Max Kenner, a great diagram. And Bertie Lewis, a really good presentation with his investigation write-up. Aurelia Gladwell, Elliot Hill started the week with great energy. Ewan Bay's numeracy skills in French are amazing. Well, that's taking our subject enrichment to a whole new level. Good cross-curricular links there. Thank you, Mr. Regeling. Kieran Smith, working hard as the upper prep head prefect, is noticed and appreciated by all the staff. Sammy Woods, great confidence, sharing ideas in PSHE recently. Alex Weston, good positivity in maths and science classes. Zach Middleton, also good attitude. Gabriel Clark, really good creative writing from Mr. March. Well done to Oscar Elam for really good resilience coming back to school with a smile on his face. Ozan Manan's got a great knowledge of flags, and in particular his knowledge on which countries in the world have French as their official language, reports Mr. Regeling. Oscar Elam, another nomination for you on fire in maths this week from Mr. Barrett. Harry Hewitt, good to hear your name mentioned. Really good practical work in chromatography, says Mr. Barrett. Dylan Newman has been an awesome member of the form this term in 8L, cheerful, engaged and chatty. And Darcy Fitzgibbon has produced absolutely outstanding prep week in, week out, reports Mrs. Hornstetter for history. Into seniors, Enzo Reed, bringing joy into the 9R classroom, especially when he sings Dans la Vide for us a cappella. Thank you for that nomination. Max Receif, being very kind and enthusiastic across all aspects of school life, says Mrs. Bray. Dylan Bishop, good work on Kahoot, even though he does support the wrong Formula 1 driver, I believe. Year 9 Maths with Mr. Barrett. Zach Moffat's created a good impression, as has Connor Towers and Max Rocheron. Good to see you in there, Max, showing some perseverance over some difficult subject matter. Eddie Collins, great engagement with literature. Avanish, good to see you popping up again. Your presentation on the portrait from Macbeth from Mrs. Bray. Yusuf Masood, really good consistency in computer science, and equally nominated also for your French revision skills. Henry Sweetman, consistently polite, showing the Kingswood House way. Nathaniel Ashwell, great listening. Charlie Leonard, Henry Sweetman, Ted Bunya-Ames have all shown really good attainments in their chemistry. Tobias van Hennigan has been showcasing the value of respect towards staff and his peers, reports Ms. Patel. And Lucas Cressy, excellent work in your science recently. Some super model answers in particular, says Miss Black. Danny Pepper, Rory Slater, Lucas Cressy, Yvonne Tutai, Ben Holmes, Ben Hubber. Excellent behaviour for an HBQ lesson recently when Madame Swift was covering. They shared their ideas and it was an absolute pleasure to listen to them, says Madame. Mrs. Lindley's Year 10 Maths class were very, very hard-working and respectful for Miss Foster, equally when she was undertaking a cover class. And Year 10 in general have been impressive, tackling their fieldwork write-ups on the case study for Birmingham, says Mr. Lordy. Well done to all of 11H and 11W who are removing their coats in the dining room now without being asked. Good to see, says Mrs. Hornstetter. Follow Ieni, Marcus Glenn, Ted Rees and Jess Dunn have been very dedicated to their studies and showcasing really good time management reports, Mrs. Bray. Enan, Jack, Bunny Ames, Turret Byrne, Will Hamilton, Barnaby and Nick Hill, Will Moffat, Joe Seeger all put on a great performance reading in Christchurch during the Harvest Festival in the last half of term. Thank you for that, gentlemen, and you were also very helpful clearing away the chairs without being asked at the end. And finally, Enan, another nomination for you for your excellent work, 100% into your efforts for science. So that wraps up what's been a very fruitful week back upon the resumption of this half of term. Lots of exciting things coming your way. And of course, please make sure that you put into your diaries the public consultation down at the Sports Hall at Stamford Green on Thursday the 10th. It will be, I'm sure, an event that will be very, very popular, rightly so, and one that we can look forward to, I think, with an enormous amount of pride about what we do as an asset of community value here at Kingswood House. Have a super weekend and see many of you later on today at the fireworks.